Skate is a really interesting game at the moment. It's actually kind of like a toxic relationship. Like, I don't think I've ever loved a game so much, but also been so unbelievably frustrated with it all at the same time. It's actually quite impressive the more you think about it. But don't worry, this is not going to be another one of the why this game sucks videos. We've had plenty. I don't think we need more. I get it. I agree with most of it. We're good on that front. I specifically want to talk about Skate as a live service game. I see a lot of questions about if it should even be one, if it was the right choice, and I see a lot of no's out there, but today I'm going to challenge that a little bit. I feel like I should qualify myself first, though. I've played every Skate game except for Skate It, because it just didn't really interest me, but I've loved every one of them. I still remember the day that my dad brought home the first Skate game when I was so upset after breaking my arm. Like, it was a pivotal time for me. It's among one of my favorite games of all time, probably top 3, but just know I'm probably going to ruffle some feathers here. I need you to stick with me, though. I'm going to be fair, we're going to look at it from both sides because basically all of the criticism about the new game is warranted, all of it. I actually agree with most of it. However, I find myself thinking about the live service problem quite a bit. Now, the lack of a story is one of the biggest complaints I see with Skate, so for some contrast, let's go back to the games that started it all. I mean, in Skate 1, the game starts out with you getting hit by a bus, and then you have to make a name for yourself as a pro skateboarder in San Vanalona. You do different types of challenges to earn and select your sponsors, earn money for clothes and boards, do magazine shoots to get on the cover, pro skater challenges, and you hit contests along the way to eventually make it to the X Games, and then you're like the sickest skateboarder ever. I mean, I'm simplifying it a bit, but cool, right? In Skate 2, you get out of jail 5 years after the first game, and New San Vanalona has been rebuilt after an earthquake by M Corp, who hates skateboarding. Your goal is to rise back up as a pro skateboarder while taking the city back from M Corp and bringing skateboarding back to the forefront. You do different types of challenges to earn and select your sponsors, earn money for clothes and boards, do magazine shoots to get on the cover, pro skater challenges, and hit contests along the way to eventually do a really big stunt and be crowned Skater of the Year. Wait a second. Now on to Skate 3, you're in a brand new city called Port Carverton, you bail doing a stunt over a massive shark, and you get absolutely f***ing wrecked, causing you to lose your board sponsor. You then create your own board company and eventually a whole team of your own. You do different types of challenges to sell boards and unlock clothes, and more boards and custom parks, and then you do magazine shoots to get on the cover, pro skater challenges, and you hit contests along the way to eventually sell 1 million boards, and then you're the baddest bitch on the block. You see what I'm getting at here, don't ya? Look, I love these stories, and yes, I'm simplifying some of the new gameplay changes that came with each game, but in all honesty, prepare your feathers to be ruffled, hot take dangerously close, and just stay with me after I say this, I beg you. This story ain't that deep, and it never has been. There was, I said it. I feel better now. I'm not saying the game was bad, but there was no dramatic storytelling or twists and turns. The best part about the game was that it engulfed you in skateboarding culture. From choosing your sponsors, to the magazine shoots, the pro skaters, to the insane amount of real-life brands in the games, it was amazing. Now, I will say, while I'm focusing on the story currently, I also recognize the utter lack of culture in the new title. It's a huge problem that was just made worse when V told me footy means footage.
Please, no! 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 No!
However, when it comes to the meat and potatoes of the game, it wasn't that deep. The story is a very simple narrative to guide you along the challenges and just give you a sense of progress throughout the games. Whether it's earning sponsors or in Skate 3, just watch board sale number go up. When you look even deeper into the challenges themselves, they were quite simplistic in nature. Gap this spot, grind this rail, do a 180. Some were tough, but it really isn't that far from what we have now in the new Skate. Yes, some of the new ones feel like they were designed by people who have never seen a skateboard in their entire life, but most of the time, when comparing to the past, they just aren't that different. When we look from a quantity standpoint, there was like 83 challenges in Skate 3 total. You can find playthroughs of that game that are like 6 hours long, and then what? No more challenges, no more anything. Sure, there might be side quests afterwards, but once you're done, you just explore, free skate, and maybe hop online. Yeah, the maps were also bigger, and it offered much more variety than what we have at this moment, but as far as things to do, that's it. I really try my best to see multiple sides of arguments, so when I find myself thinking that I'm bored of these challenges and they're too repetitive, I then counter it with at least we're getting more of them. If this were a traditional title, you beat what the game has and that's it. Same with the map. Yeah, there might be a DLC here and there, but that's still it. As of now, the new skate map is going to grow over time. I will say though, caveat, we need actual map expansions and new locations, not just modifying the existing map. The rooftop stuff is cool, and I think it was a smart choice. There was a lot of unused space, but modifying the map is not enough for long term. We need entirely new locations and additions like a school section, more skate parks, downhill areas, true expansions. But back to quantity, as of right now, Season 2 will bring the total challenges available in the new title to 120 compared to Skate's 83, and that 120 continues to grow. Now I know that some of these challenges they're buns, I get it, they suck, but they've gotten much better in my opinion, and bottom line, a live service game has the possibility of delivering way more content over time. And if you had told me 10 years ago that Skate 3 would have been an ever-growing game with more locations and things to do, I would have been over the moon. So what is the problem? I know what you're thinking here. The elephant in the room is that we are still missing certain types of challenges. Pretty much all of them. I mean, there's no skate, there's no death races, no contests, and really no competitive modes at all other than spot battles. Now, in my opinion, there's no way these aren't coming. I have such a hard time believing that they're that stupid to not include these things. As much as they say this is not Skate 4, you need to have these challenges in a skate game, period. There's no excuse. But that's one problem I feel like we're having right now. We need variety. The session, own the spot, and own the lot challenges are not enough. A lot of them are just way too easy, and we don't want to play the same type of challenge over and over. We need these other modes. We need to be able to challenge other players with these modes and a proper matchmaking system to do it. Once more PvP elements are available and we actually have more variety in older game modes, I think engagement will go way up and we won't feel as fatigued as we do now. Just imagine an ever-growing amount of death races, contests, and even player-created challenges. To me, that sounds like a dream. However, then we come to why am I doing these challenges? Now this is where I struggle the most, because while I don't think the stories were ever that deep, you gotta give us something. At some point we will hopefully have all the same challenges as older titles, but as of now, none of the reasons to do them. The reason can't just be because the game tells me to in order to get ticks for the skate pass that I had to buy. What are we working towards? Admittedly, I don't have the answer here. I don't know what this looks like in a live service game. The missions could have easily been some type of narrative, but instead it was a glorified tutorial. The sad attempt at progression was just to level up your districts and earn rip chips to open loot boxes with gear and droppable items. And then once you max out those districts to level 10, you're done. You open all the boxes, and then you're done with that too, and rip chips become entirely useless. What's the point? Again, this is a tough one. Do you do something community-oriented like Helldivers? Do you uncap district levels or have a prestige leveling system like COD with rewards along the way? I mean, COD has many events where the more you play, you climb a leaderboard, and the higher you climb, you get rewards. That's cool as well. I mean, do you have something like where you tie it to creator parks like Skate 3? Maybe there's some sort of per season progression track and a narrative that resets. I don't know, but either way, it needs something. I do believe that Skate can exist without a story mode, but that does not mean that players still don't need some long-term goal to work towards. Other than the Skate Pass, there really isn't much to motivate players to grind the game right now. You could say there's clothes to earn, but all the cool stuff is in the shop or in the Skate Pass anyways. That's a problem. Speaking of a problem, let's talk about those cosmetics for a second. There's also the argument of just making a $70 game and still having cosmetics that people can buy, similar to FPS games, COD again, Battlefield, but do we want that either? I already spent $70 and now I have to pay more for boards, clothes, and new brands? We know that's how it would have been because it's EA, like come on. Granted, those games will have more out of the box, hopefully, but in those situations, I just end up not buying anything because I already spent money on the game, and before you know it, you'll be $200, $300 deep in a video game, and with a free-to-play title like this, I don't have a problem buying things now because I didn't have to pay for the game. Look, gaming has changed. Things are different now. I see a lot of comparisons about how the original series was a one-time purchase and you got the whole game. I don't like it either, but I feel like, especially with EA, that is just an unrealistic expectation to have at this point. It's just not the norm, especially with a game like this where your clothes and your board are your identity. It's integral to skateboarding, and it is also a f***ing gold mine for EA if they keep a constant stream of new clothes and brands to buy. Let me be clear, I am not defending the egregious pricing in the store because it's actually f***ing offensive at times, but devil's advocate here, I do think the odds were always incredibly high that we would be getting physically assaulted with microtransactions, whether it was free to play or a $70 title. So is this option really that bad? You have more money to buy in if you want, or you can not spend a dime and play the whole game for free. At least at the end of the day, it gives us, the players, the choice. Now to wrap this up, I do think that Skate can be a live service game. The stories of the original titles were game-changing for their time, but looking back now, I just don't feel like they were that deep. Even after saying it now, I think back to how much I loved those games at the times, but with some hindsight, I do feel like a lot of it is nostalgia. A lot of it for me was just how different it was and how much better it was than the Tony Hawk games we were playing at the time. I loved Tony Hawk's Pro Skater too, but like Skate was another level. Is it a good live service game now? Hell no. The game needs deeper progression. I need a reason to play, something to work towards long term, and it needs to be more than daily tasks or monthly tasks to do 250 board slides or be in the air for 10 seconds 50 times. We need actual PvP multiplayer modes like skate, races, contests, and leaderboards to boost engagement and foster more community. Currently, this is an online multiplayer game with incredibly limited multiplayer modes. Somebody make that make sense to me. We need more variety and challenges and actual map expansions rather than just modifying what we have. We need actual events that modify the maps and not just community parks that give us more to do for the events, leaderboards, contests. The more I think about it, my problem with Skate is not that it's a live service game. There is actually so much stuff that excites me about that. My problem is the current gameplay loop and just complete lack of one. The skating is the best it's ever been in a Skate title. In my opinion, it's the best out of any skateboarding game. There's just nothing like it. It is so smooth, but we just need more things to do. We need things that actually foster the creativity of the player. We need an actual reason to play and progress with others that makes us want to come back tomorrow and do it again. And for sake, let us go back to Tutorial Island. Look, I'm not a game developer, but it seems like the easiest win ever. The lowest hanging fruit. The map is done. It's already there. Just let us get on the ferry and go back. So yeah, I hope you guys like this video. I mean, I know Skate has its problems, and I share those frustrations with the community, but I can't help it. I'm still loving this game right now. It's so frustrating. I know a lot of others too, though. I mean, it's funny because you find 20-minute videos all the time of people just shitting on it, saying EA ruined it, only to at the end say they're gonna keep playing it. Like, there's so much good here, and once a lot of these issues hopefully get ironed out, and I think they find their footing, I think it could be great. We'll see how it goes going forward. Season 3 is right around the corner. I don't think they're going to fix every problem, but most people agree that it is actually crucial that they bring good changes to this game. So keep in mind, this is also not me trying to change anyone's mind, but just to have a conversation about the other side of the live service discussion, because I do believe it's not all that bad. I want to hear from you though. If you are someone who does not like the live service model, what would it take for them to earn your time? What kind of things could they do to make you vibe with it more? This is what I want to focus on in a later video as well. I want to talk about all the things that excite me about a live service growing skate game. There's enough doom and gloom around this game right now, and I get it, but I also want to try to focus on the good and the world of possibilities it has. But anyways, thanks for listening. See you in the next one.